So in the previous session, we dealt with what is the concept of Nyaya, how this Nyaya has been evolved, what are the different types of Nyaya, and what are Laukika Nyaya and Shastriya Nyaya, and we went to study, or we studied the Kakadanta Pariksha Nyaya and the Gunakshara Nyaya. So after these two Nyayas, which are considered as, we don't have much references of these two Nyayas, that is Kakadanta, we have only one reference, and Gunakshara Nyaya, we have the two references as a Shastriya Nyaya in our text to understand the concepts. But when we go with the Gobali-Vardhana Nyaya, we have many references. We have 6 to 7 references of Gobali-Vardhana Nyaya used by Chakrapani at different areas to make understand the hidden meaning of the verses. So let's begin with the Gobali-Vardhana Nyaya today. So what is the meaning of this Go-Bali-Vardhana? As I already told that whatever the Nyayas are there, we have to understand this Nyayas based on two parameters. One is the specific word meaning of that particular Nyaya. The second is as how they are applied in the Samhita. What is the context under which this Nyaya has been applied? That is, one is you have to know the Padartha Jnana, the another is you have to know the Prakriya Jnana, and then the interpretation of this Nyaya related with the textual reference. So what is the meaning? What is the word meaning of Go Bali Vardhana? It is actually Go and Bali Vardhana. You have to split here. So it is a maxim of cattle and the bull. Go refers to a cow and Bali Vardhana refers to the bull. So Go refers to both a male cow as well as a female cow. When we say that cow, it may be a male or a female. But when you are going to specify it, then it will be a Bali Vardhana. So that time it will be the bull. So this is what Samanya and this is Vishesha. So even our Shat Padarthas can also be applied in understanding the concept of Nyaya. Samanya Ekatvakaram Visheshastu Prithakatvakrit. So here what the Samanya what we are seeing. So when we say Samanya, the cow or go, it refers to both the male and the female cow or the go. But when we say it as a Bali Vardhana, it specifically refers to the bull. So this is the maxim of cattle and the bull, where you are going to specify or you are going to differentiate between two words when they mean the same, or when contextually they are having the, when you are not getting contextually their meaning. So this is the different word. Bull is used to mean a male cow to distinguish it from the female cow. So what does this Go Bali Vardhana refers here is the acceptance of a word will not be always what it is there in the text. So sometimes the acceptance may change. So that highlight is being told by the Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya. Then what is the interpretation, what you can get from this Nyaya? That is Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya. As I said, it is being vastly used in our Samhitas. So it is what commonly accepted thing is not always what it actually denotes. So sometimes there may be a difference. So there may be a deviation from what it is actually it is going to say. So that is what the Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya tells. It gives us the hidden meaning as per the context. So in the next we will be going into the different references, where each reference gives you a different meaning. So that is according to the context is going to give you its hidden meaning, and its ideas also change. So this is the interpretation. So from where this Go origin? So as I said before also, all the Laukika Nyayas, Shastriya Nyayas, all they are borrowed from the Laukika Nyayas. So these Shastriya Nyayas, what we are studying, Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya, it is not a Shastriya. We don't call it as a Shastriya Nyaya. Why? Because it has been in our Samhita. When it is in the Samhita, we call it as a Shastriya Nyaya. But it is being borrowed from Laukika Nyayas. So it also comes under the category of Laukika Nyaya. So the first reference is from the Rajaram Shastri in the Panini. We get this reference of the Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya. And in Vachaspati, in Kavya Pradeepa, and in Manusmruti, and in Nyaya Vartika and all, we have the reference or the origin of the Nyaya, where they have used the different terminologies to explain these Nyayas. For example, in Panini, as I said, Rajaram Shastri, he profoundly explained the meaning of Go Bali Vardhana Nyaya is Yatra Gaha Kalaya Bali Vardha Cha iti uchyate तत्र गोपदेनैव बलिवर्धपदसिद्धौ बलिवर्धपदं दुर्दमत्य ज्ञापन परत्वेन safalamiti kalpyate. So which gives you a difference in understanding what is go and what is balivardhana. When we say go, it means both, but when we specify balivardhana, it is the specification what they are going to say. Similarly, in Vachaspati you have, in Manusmriti you have, and in the commentators of Raghavananda and Govindaram, in all these we have the references of the Go Balivardhana Nyaya. So other Nyayas which mimic or they are similar to this class of Nyaya are the Brahmana Vasishta Nyaya and the Brahmana Parivrajaka Nyaya. So this is what the Laukika Nyayas which mimic similar to that of the Go Balivardhana Nyaya. This is the origin of the Nyaya. And when we go into the reference in our text or in our Samhitas, where all we have the references of Go Balivardhana Nyaya. The first reference you have from Charaka Sutra, first chapter, where he is going to define the word Anantapara. In 7th chapter, where he is going to define the word Dushti, Dushtai Maladhikai. In Sutra, 13th chapter, where he is going to differentiate between the Acha and the Samshodhana. In Nidana, first chapter, under the context of Samprapti, where Vidhi Samprapti and Sankhya Samprapti are being differentiated. In Indriya, 11th chapter, where he is going to differentiate between the words Svajana and Janameva. And in Chikitsa, where he is going to differentiate the word Tvakadosha with the Kushta. And in Chikitsa, same 20th chapter, under the Charti Chikitsa, he is going to differentiate with the Drishta Shabdartha. So these are the references where you are going to get the Go Balivardhana Nyaya, the maximum reference of Nyaya which we have in our Samhitas. The next comes the Shringa Grahikaya Nyaya, and then third comes the Chatrino Gachanti Nyaya. So these are the Nyayas which are implied maximum by the commentators. So going with each of these references means how you are going to analyze or understand these references with the application of Go Balivardhana Nyaya. So this is called Anantapara. So this is from, see, whatever in Samhitas the verses are there, the sthana, the adhyaya, the verse, all are having the interconnection. Sutra sthana, Nidana sthana, Vimana sthana, they are having interconnection. The first chapter to the second chapter in Sutra sthana has a connection. Nidana sthana, all the 8 chapters are having the connection. So this is how, along with that, the verses are also having the connection. This is how the beauty of Samhita lies. How they have been written, how they are interconnected to each other. It is in a Kramagata Artha. It is in a sequential order the textbook is being arranged. So when we go with the Anantapara, so whenever you are reading Samhitas, don't concentrate only on that particular verse which is being told. You will always have a link for the previous verse as well as to the next verse. So this is how you have to study the Samhita. This is how you can understand the Samhita. So in the first chapter of Dirghanjiviti Adhyaya, it comes under the 26th shloka. So when we start with the Samhita, in the Dirghanjiviti Adhyaya, he starts with the Itihasmaha Bhagavan Atreya. He gives the qualities of a Bhagavan, then he tells about the Sutra, then he tells about the Avatarana of Ayurveda, then he tells, once the Avatarana of Ayurveda has been occurred, then he tells in what form the Avatarana occurred. That is, the previous shloka for this Anantapara word, for this Anantapara, the Go Balivardhana Nyaya has been used. The left side, the right side one is the main verse and the left side one is the commentator verses. So here when he is telling the Anantapara, before that he is telling the Avatarana has come in the form of Trisutra. Why? Because Ayurveda is a vast, like an ocean. So this has been collected in a nutshell and it was brought from heaven to the earth in the form of Triskanda or the Trisutra. So this Hetu Linga Aushadha Sutra is the first sutra before this Anantapara. Then how to understand this Triskanda Ayurveda? What is the importance of this Triskanda Ayurveda? For that he has used the word Anantapara. Means he is telling whatever Bharadwaja bought this Ayurveda, how did he redact this Ayurveda, or how he expounded this Ayurveda, or how he told this Ayurveda to the rishis who were assembled over there. So this shows one of the ethics where how the knowledge should be given. The knowledge should never be kept inside, it should be given. When you give, it is going to explore or it is going to reach to the maximum. So this was what followed by our ancient acharyas. After this Anantapara, the next verse is of Shad Padarthas. So this is how the sequence is arranged. First, Ayurveda Avatarana. After Ayurveda Avatarana, how Ayurveda Avatarana occurred in the form of Trisutra. How is this Trisutra? Anantapara. It has no beginning, no end. Means Ayurveda is such a vast science. You cannot finish in this lifetime. That much vast it is. How much you study, you're going to enhance your knowledge. So that is Trisutra Ayurveda. How it was what? Na anavashesha and na ashamsana. He's telling that it was not much elaborated also, and it was not told very less also. Bharadwaja, how he got the knowledge, the same knowledge he gave to the Rishi Munis who were present over there. He did not go to elaborate it much more, or he did not go to concise it. So that how he told. What he told in that he started with the Hetu. The first Trisutra is the Hetu. Hetu Linga Aushadha. So what is the Hetu? This Hetu Linga Aushadha is for Swastha Atura Parayana. It is a marga for the Swastha as well as the Atura. So how he says this Hetu Jnana? He gives it with the Shad Padarthas. Once if you know the Shad Padarthas, these Padarthas are nothing but these are the Hetu for you to maintain the Arogya as well as for the occurrence of the Roga. Why? Because using these Shad Padarthas, you are going to achieve the Dhatu Samya Kriya. If you have the knowledge of the Shat Padartha, you are going to get the Dhatu Samyata. If you don't have, that's why these are called as Ityuktam Karanam. So that is the reason, this is the link how it goes on. Then he goes on explaining each, that is Samanya Vishesha Dravya Guna. So here the word what he is going to analyze is the Anantapara. So Ananta refers which has no beginning, and Para is which has no end. So he says that this Triskanda Ayurveda which is being told by the Mahamuni, it is Anantapara. He is going to differentiate. If it tell only Ananta, it becomes, it has no beginning. But what about the end? That is word is used for Param. Para means it is like, see, if you go for Chakrapani commentary, he says अत्र पारशब्देन गोबलिवर्धन्यायेन आदिरुच्यते. पारशब्दो हि अय उभयोरपि नदीकलयोर विवक्षावशात् avartate. He says that where you cannot find the end, you cannot see Nadi Kula. If you stand at one end, you cannot see the other end. That is called as a para. Similarly, the subject of Ayurveda is so vast and it has no beginning and it has no end. So what he call it is to highlight the importance of these two words. So go Balivartana, where he is going to highlight these two words. Both are having the equal importance, means which has no beginning and which has no end. That he calls it, that he implies using the Go Balivartana Nyaya. Tena ayarmitam lebhe bharadvajaha rishibhyo anadhikam tacha shamshasana avasheshayan. So he is not telling anadhika also and he is not telling avashesha also. So this is how the Triskanda Ayurveda is being told and it is being propagated. So that Ayurveda is what? It is Anantapara. It has no beginning and it has no end. We don't know from where it has started, where it is going to end. So that much vast is the knowledge of Ayurveda. So differentiating, understanding these two terminologies, he uses the word the Go Bali Vartana Nyaya. So this is one what you get from Ananta Para. That is the first reference. The next reference it comes from Navegandharani Adhyaya of Charaka Sutra, 7th chapter, where what is the pre-sequence of this? What is the sequence what he is telling? He is telling what are the Vedas which you should do the dharana and which you should not do the dharana and which you should not do the dharana. And then he says how you are going to understand this Dushti Maladikaiha. So you have the verse called Dve Adaha Sapta Shirasi Khani Sweda Mukhani Cha Malayanani Bhadyante Dushtair Matra Adhikair Malaiha. So you are having two verses here. Dushtair Matra Adhikair Malaiha he is telling. Then he starts with Malavruddhim Gurutaya Laghavan Malasankshayam Malayananam Buddhyante Sangha Utsargad Ativacha. So this is what the main verse he says. The Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is being applied for Dushta. So for dushtair, matra adhikai. So you are having here one is dushti and another is the adhika matra. Two words are there. Here the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is being applied. So dushtair iti Gobali Vardhana Nyayena kshinaiha. Matra adhikai iti vruddhaiha. So here he is going to differentiate. That is, dushti refers to either increase or decrease. It is already known. Okay, it is like a go. Go means both male and a female go. So here dushti refers to, when you're not specifying, dushti refers to what? Kshaya as well as vriddhi. But when you are specifying here, see, after dushti, he has specified matra adhika. So he has specified what? Vardhana. That is matra adhika is there. So if adhika is there means, next what will be the dushti? The kshinata. So this what he calls it as, this word he is going to apply in the form of Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. The same Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is also used by Gangadhar commentary in his verses. So this is only one reference where Gangadhar uses the Gobali Vardhana commentary. So here he says, the before verse of this, Dve Adha Sapta Shirasi, he is going to tell about maintaining the swastha. He tells how to maintain the swastha. Everything comes in the before verse. Then the question arises, even after maintaining the verse, sometimes what happens? So we follow all the dinacharya, rutucharya, everything we follow, isn't it? This is a question wherein even Agnivesha asked to Atreya, all the healthy things we eat, everything we do, but still a person gets afflicted with the vyadhi, and a person is following all the apatya, but he does not get afflicted with the vyadhi. So there comes our the concept of vyadhi kshamatva, which we study in the sutra. 25th chapter. So here what happens, sometimes even after following these swastha karanas, that is vega dharana and all whatever he is telling over there, everything is being followed. Sometimes what happens, so dosha sanchaya is going to occur. So when dosha sanchaya is occurring, then what happens? If dosha sanchaya occurs, then prakopa occurs, then whenever there is a dosha sanchaya or the prakopa, it has to be removed out of the body, either in the form of a shamana or in the form of a shodhana. It should be removed. So when you have to remove out of the body, then he says about these margas, that is Dve Adaha Sapta Shirasi Khani. So these 9 margas he says, through which the dosha sanchaya which has occurred, it should be removed out of the body. Why? Because if they are not removed out of the body, Acharya says that they are going to do the badhana. They are going to afflict your body. So whenever you are get afflicted with any disease, it should be cured, it should be treated. Here it doesn't mean that you are going to remove something out of the body. It is not like removing your clothes or removing your sweat out of the body. In general, it is whenever you are affected with a disease, it should be removed out of the body, or it should be cured, it should be treated. Either it may be in the form of a shamana or a shodhana. The vitiated dosha should be brought back to the normalcy. So here he refers to the malayanani badhyante. They are going to cause you the affliction. So here mala difference refer to your three malas. Here mala refers to the dushta dosha or the doshas which are being vitiated. So here it may be anything. It may be a dhatu also. It may be a mala also. It may be a dosha also. Why? Because dushayanti iti dosha. So here it may be anything. So malayanani badhyante dushtair matra adhikair malaha. So he says that these what are they are going to do? They are going to cause the badhana either by becoming kshina or either by becoming the adhika. So the same reference what we have. So always they are having the 3 stages of the dosha. One is sama, another is vriddhi, and the kshaya. Sama is considered as a normalcy. That's why Sushruta says that sama dosha sama agnischa. He would have told vriddhi dosha or kshaya dosha. It is not like that. Sama dosha sama agnischa he says. So vriddhi and kshaya are considered to be the abnormal. So here he says the dushtair matra adhikair malaha means these malas are going to cause you badhana either in 2 forms. How? If they are sama, they are going to maintain. If they are becoming kshina, they are going to cause difficulty. If they are becoming vruddha also, they are going to cause you the difficulty. So by 2 ways, they are going to cause you the badhana. Dushtair matra adhikair malaha. This you get in Charaka Sutra, 17th chapter, 62 shloka. That is the reference for this Adhika and Kshina. Doshaha pravrittaha swam lingam darshayati yatha balam. So this shloka you have Kshinaha jahati lingam swam samaha swam karma kurvate. Means if they are in the normalcy, then they are going to do the proper or the normal function. Either in Vriddha or the Kshaya avastha, they are going to cause the abnormalities. That is, this is what he says in the Badhana. So when they are going to have this, so Dushti here refers to the Kshina. Adhika refers to the Vriddhi. Means the Malas are going to do Badhana in both these stages. Malavriddhim, if become Malavriddhi, they are going to cause the Gurutaya, Laghavan, Malak Sanshayam. So this is what he is telling about the Mala. That is, Ativa Sangha is going to cause the Malakshaya and Ati Utsarga is going to cause the Malavriddhi. So after saying this, he says, if you go for the Chakrapani commentary, Yena Uttara Tatra Kshaya Vriddhyorapi Lakshana Vadati. So here all the Kshaya Lakshanas you have to know. In the next verse, that is after this verse, he is going to tell you, is telling that seeing these lakshanas, that is whether it is a Kshaya Avastha or it is in a Vriddhi Avastha, you have to go for your treatment planning based upon the Sadhya Sadhyata Vyadhi Hetu Dvandva. That is the Upashaya he says. Once you read the next verse of this, that is the 44th verse, he says, plan your treatment seeing these lakshanas, that is whether the doshas are in the Malas are in the Vriddha Avastha, Kshaya Avastha, whether they are in the Sadhya Asadhya stage, which line of treatment you are going to plan, whether you are going for a Vyadhi Pratyanika, Hetu Pratyanika. See, these all are again told in your Vyadhi and Hetu Pratyanika in your Nidana Sthana. Means the reference of previous is being taken over in the Nidana Sthana. Depending upon the matra, kala, etc., plan your line of treatment. So this is how acharyas have clarified, commentator have clarified the word dushtair matra adhikai malaha. Okay, so this is the second reference what we get from the mala adhika. The third reference we get it from the acha samshodhana. This is from Sneha Adhyaya, 13th chapter, Charaka Sutra. So here also the Sneha Adhyaya. So if you go for the previous verse of this, a very beautiful verse where you have the Padartha Tantra Yukti, where Sankhya, Sankhya, these words are being repeated in the same verse. So here the Punarvasa Atreya will be praised upon his knowledge, saying that he is having the Samyak Jnana. Sankhya here refers to he is having the Samyak Jnana, what we study in our Sankhya Darshana. Sankhya, one of the meaning is Samyak Jnana. So here Agnivesha will ask or he praise his Guru, saying that you are the person who has a Samyak Jnana. So now I want to know about the Sneha. What are the types of Sneha? What is the yoni of the Sneha? Number, Lakshana, Vyapat, etc. etc. He puts on the questions in the before verse. So when he is going to put the question here in the verse, there one question comes. He is asking about Acche samshodhane cha eva snehe ka vritti rishyate. So here when he asks, he is asking about two words, Accha and the samshodhana. To clarify the word Accha, he is going to tell about the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. Why? Because the Accha Sneha, sometimes we have Accha Sneha and the Vicharana Snehapana. Accha sometimes even it is given as a form of Shodhana also, in the form of Shamana also, and in the form of Brahmana Sneha also. So when it comes like that, so here the doubt for him will be, Accha here it is in general refers to go. When the next word you see, Samshodhana, then it becomes Balivartana. Means Accha is for Shamana and Samshodhana here refers to Accha you are going for Shamana Sneha and Samshodhana you are going for the Vicharana Sneha. So this is how he is going to clarify this verse. That is Accha for Shamana and Vicharana is for Samshodhana. So after this he starts with the next verse. After this is Kim Yoni. What are the Yoni for the Sneha? So this is how the words Accha and Samshodhana is being given. If you go for Chakrapani commentary, Accha iti Samshodhana Prutak Nirdeshat Go Balivardhanyayena Na Samshamanam iti Bhavati. Means it is not for Accha is for Shamana and Shodhana here you are going for the vicharana sneha, don't think that for samshodhana you are going to give the acha snehapana. It is not like that. Na samshamana miti bhavati means acha is for samshamana, and for samshodhana you go for the vicharana sneha. So this is how he is going to clarify these two words. The next verse he goes with the vidhi samprapti. So in the samprapti, the concept of samprapti, he is going here. So we have 5 types of samprapti where he has been telling about the sankhya and vidhi. We are going to get confused. Actually, what the differentiation we can make here. So here in the before verse, you are having the pradhana samprapti, vikalpa samprapti and all he'll tell. So vidhi, when we come, he explains it as 2 types, nija agantu, 3 types based upon the dosha, and 4 types based upon the sadhya sadhyata. So this like he gives. So when we look into this, it also seems that they both are similar. Chaturvida, 4 types. 4 types is what again? Sankhya. Sankhya syat ganitam, he says. So Sankhya means where you are going to tell the. So here there gets the confusion whether these two are similar or not. So to differentiate the vidhi with the sankhya, the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya संख्या प्राधान्यादि कृतोपि व्याधेर विधिर्भेदो भवत्येव तथापि संख्यादि भेदानां स्वसंज्ञैव गृहीतत्वात् गोबलिवर्धन न्यायात्. So here he is going to differentiate. But when we look into Chakrapani commentary, we don't get a much specific idea of what he is going to clarify here. So if we go for Gangadhar commentary over this concept of Vidhi Samprapti, he has given a clear-cut explanation. For example, he says that Vidhi, he says, Vidhi is tu prakaraha. See, he is going to differentiate. Vidhi is prakara, sankhya, bheda matram. Okay, that is, when you are going to tell only the bheda, it is what? When you are going to tell only the numbers, it will be a sankhya. But when you are going to explain that particular types, then it becomes the vidhi. So this is how he is going to tell. Vidhi is prakara and sankhya bheda matram, he says. Again to prakara, Gangadhar again further he gives the example saying says Sajatiya vijatiyeshu pancha brahmanaha pancha brahmana kshatriyaha. So Sajati is what? Pancha brahmana. Vijati is what? Pancha brahmana kshatriyaha. Prakarastu. So this is what? It is what? It is only bheda. It becomes sankhya. But when you are going for prakara, then prakarastu sajati eshu bhinneshu dharmantarena upapattihi. Again, when you go for the prakara, again 5 brahmanas, you are going to explain it. When you are going to explain that sajati brahmanas, 5 types, when I say only 5 types, it becomes sankhya. When I explain all the 5 types, then it becomes the vidhi. Similarly with the brahmana and kshatriya, he says. The next he gives the example, clinical example he gives, Nijaha Sharira Dosha Jatvena Dharmena Eka Prakaraha. So if we tell Nija, then if we tell Sharira Dosha Jatvena and we go on explaining the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, that time it becomes what? The Vidhi. If we consider only Nija, it becomes only one type. When you tell only one type, it becomes the Sankhya. Agantu Karanatvena Dharmena Apara Prakara. So this is next line. Apara Prakara means it is a difference what we are going to tell. If I tell Nija and Agantu only 2 types, it becomes what? Again, it will be a Sankhya. But when you are going to explain the Nija and you are going to tell that Nija is because of Sharira Dosha, Agantu is because of the external factors, then it becomes what? Vidhi. So this you are going to understand based upon the Gobali Vardhana. So Vidhi he refers to the Prakara and Sankhya he refers to the Matra. The differentiation what you are going to take. So Vidhi also includes the Sankhya, but when you are going to elaborate it, that time it will become Vidhi. When you are going to only tell, that time it will become the Sankhya. So this context is also he explains based upon the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. Okay, so this is the 4th reference what we have. Then comes the 5th reference in Indriyasthana 11th chapter, Swajana and Janameva. Swajana refers to his own people and Janameva refers to the others. So Arishta related to personality, that is related to Ashila, here it is being told. See, when we look into the Indriyasthana 1st chapter, there are certain bhavas which has been told. Varanascha, swarascha, gandhascha, sparshascha, he goes on telling. Means whenever you are looking into a patient, all these criteria should be looked into. You should not leave even one single criteria. That is, not only a physical appearance or physical parameters are important, the mental parameters are also important in assessing the prognosis of a disease. So this is what our acharyas have given the most importance. In that, when he goes on explaining all these bhavas around that time, he will tell about one bhava, that is the Sheela. Means how a personality of a person changes. What a Vaidya should infer out of that. That infers that it is one of the Arishta Lakshana, means along with the Vyadhi, not the routine, because every time our personality changes. This is the modern era, and according to the situation, we change our personality. Isn't it? Whenever we want, we'll go with them. We don't want, we'll keep them out. So this is not considered as Arishta Lakshana. Person suffering with a Vyadhi at that time, physically and mentally, if you see the changes in the parameters, then he consider it as one of the Arishta Lakshana. And even in the old age, it also indicates as one of the Arishta Lakshana. So while telling about the Swajana Janameva under the context of Sheela, he says that when the person is nearing to the Ahavayastam means when he is nearing to the death, what change you do is, you find is Swajanam Janamevava Mahamova Vrittamanaha Pashana Apina Pashyati. He is not going to identify, or he is not going to accept his people as his people. He will accept the others as his people. So this is what the change what we see. So here he says Janamiti Gopali Vardhana Nyayena Swajanam. So you have two words, Swajana and Jana. When two words are there, Swajana refers to one meaning, it is refers to Swa refers to his own. For the Janamevava, he says that Swajana refers to his own people and Jana refers to the outsiders. So here there will be a change. Arishta Lakshana, and this word also he is going to explain based upon the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. Janamiti Gobali Vardhana Nyayena versa. The Swajana and Jana, there is a vice versa during the end kala. That he explains based upon the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. So this is the fifth reference. When we go for the sixth reference, Tvakadosha in the Charaka Chikitsa Adhyaya 7th chapter, the previous verse is going to explain the different yogas for the Kushta treatment. So what are the yogas, how you have to go for the yogas and all. The next, after completing the Kashaya, after that verse, the Kashayas get completed and then the Lepa yogas will start. So he says, Esha Kashayo Vamanam Virechanam Varnakastat Udgarshaha Tvagdosha Kushta Shofa Prabhadanaha Pandurogagnaha. Means these Kashayas can be used, the Falashruti, in Tvagdosha, Kushta, Shofa, as well as Pandurogagna. So in all these you can use these, he says. So there arises what is Tvagdosha and Kushta. Why? Because sometimes we say that Kushta refers to all the Tvak Vikaras. So to differentiate this Tvagdosha and Kushta, the Gobali Vartana Nyaya is used. Chakrapani says, see, these are the different Tvag doshas what you find. You have eczema, urticaria, psoriasis. These are what different you have. So in ours also we have different skin disorders. We have the Shvitra, we have Kilasa, we have Vyanga. All these he considers it as the Tvak Vikaras. So here he says Tvak dosha shabdena Gobali Vardhanyayena Kilasa Vyangadinam Grahanam. Means he says that if it is Tvak dosha alone, to Tvagdosha includes Kushta also, it includes your Kilasa, Vyanga, Shvitra, and even your Visarpa. All these can be included under the Tvakadosha when we say Tvakadosha. But the next word, immediately he uses the Kushta. So he is specifying means that is Balivardhana. So here Tvakadosha, when Kushta is being told, then what are the left out? The left out are the that is Tvag dosha and Kushta. So after this verse, he goes on explaining with the Lepa Yogas. This is from 92 shloka. So there is a difference in the main verse if we look into the Gangadhar text as well as with the Chakrapani commentary text. In Gangadhar commentary text, it is the 53rd shloka, and in Chakrapani commentary, it is the 92nd shloka what you get. But Gangadhar has not explained any, or he has not related Gobali Vardhana Nyaya for this. Only one reference you get in the Maladikaiha. And the last reference what you have is the Dvishta Samyogaja Chardi, that is Charaka Chikitsa 20th chapter, where he is going to tell you about the Chardi Chikitsa Adhyaya. He starts with the explanation, or he starts with the question and answer of the Guru Shishya. So Guru Shishya will be asking him, tell me more about the Chardi, the 5 types of the Chardi, its Nidana, Panchaka and the Chikitsa. So that time, when he comes for the Sankhya Samprapti, Atreya says, Doshaiha Pratyek Prabhavascha Tasro Dvishtartha Samyogadapi Panchami Syat. So he says that there are 5 types, Dosha 4, and Dvishtartha he says about the 5th type. So he comes with the explanation of the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. See, the context is different here, the interpretation is different here from the previous. Dvishta Pratipattityado Vakshamanat Dvishtartha Chardi Nidane Dvishta Shabdena Gobali Vardhanyaya Pratipurusha Niyata Dvishta Uchyate. So when it comes to the Dvishta refers to the likings. Artha here refers to, they are different likings. So here the Pratipurusha Siddhanta comes, means he says that this 5th variety, it is not acceptable to, or in all, one thing may be liking, that the same thing may be disliking to the other. Some of you like milk, the others may not like the milk. So this is what Dushtartha. And who doesn't like the milk? If I force them to have the milk, then naturally it becomes a Dushtartha Samyogaja Chardi. So to understand this to Dushtartha, he says the word, or he uses the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya, means he says that milk is not acceptable to, is not acceptable to everyone. There are some people who does not like it. So this is where he is telling the Dvishtartha. One likings which is not liked by everybody. Some like it, some dislike it. So understand this. He says that Pratipurusha Niyata Siddhanta. So whenever you have this Dvishtartha Chardi patients, so here you have to go for a keenful history, what they like, what they don't like. So whichever they don't like, you should not prescribe them. For example, you will be having in your OPDs many patients where they don't like much of churna, and if you forcefully tell them, no, you should have churna, because churna you are going to have the very good effect, you have to take the churna. So what happens, 1 day, 2 days they take, 3rd day they vomit, and they come and tell that I don't want because I'm not liking it, I cannot take, I tried much. So this is called as, you like or you feel that the churna is a good preparation, you have to take, but for that person it is not satma, he is not able to take, so you have to change your prescription now here. So this is what the Dvishtartha he is going to explain. It is based upon the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya only, and analyze the likings and dislikings of your patient, and according to that you have to prescribe your medicine. So that's why when we go into the practice, an ideal drug is really useful here. So what is an ideal drug quality? The palatability. So when palatability is there, depending upon your patient palatability and the drug palatability, always you have to go for your selection of the drug. So these are the different references of Gobali Vardhana Nyaya, means he is using, or he is specifying this Gobali Vardhana Nyaya, where 2 words are there which means the same, but they are going to differentiate you from the other word. So for example, Ananta Para. So Ananta refers which has no beginning and end, but when you use when the word next to para is being used, you get a confusion, or you cannot analyze what does actually the Ananta Para is used here. So they differentiate between these two, no beginning, no end. He is using this Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. When you go for Dushti and Maladikai, you feel that Dushti is occurring only in the form of Adhika Mala. No, Dushti also occurs in the form of Kshinata also. So there Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is used. Acha Samshodhana is used. You feel that oh, I have to give Samshodhana in the form of Acha Snehapana. No, Acha and Vicharana are there. Acha give Samshodhana is being told. Then what is the role of Samshamana? So give Acha in the form of Samshamana, Samshodhana in the form of Vicharana. Then he next comes with the Vidhi and Sankhya. How to understand this Vidhi as well as Sankhya? Vidhi is nothing but Prakara and Sankhya is Bheda Matra. When you are elaborating that, then it becomes the Vidhi. So this is how you are going to differentiate these two terminologies based on Gobali Vardhana. Swajana Janameva means Swajana and Jana, they look similar, but here he is telling Swajana Jana, we know the understanding. That is, Swajana means our people, and Jana is refers to the opposite. Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is telling that during the Antakala, these two criteria will change. He doesn't like Swajana and he likes the Jana. So this is what he is going to tell about based upon the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya. Then comes in your Kushta Adhikara, Tvak Dosha and the Kushta, and the last he explains it based upon the Dvishta Samartha Chardi, Dvishta Samyogaja Chardi. He is going to explain it based upon this. So this is how the Gobali Vardhana Nyaya is being explained in Charaka Samhita by the Chakrapani commentary. If you find any other references are welcome, where you can analyze these meanings. So you have to analyze these nyayas based upon the previous verse, the main verse, what he is going to highlight over there, and what he is going to explain the next. So this is how the nyayas has to be analyzed. The Padartha Jnana, the Prakriya Jnana, and the next is the interpretation, or you can even go for the literal interpretation as well as the clinical interpretation also. So this completes the today's session of Gobali Vardhana. Understood it, and any suggestions, any comments are always welcome from the student side. So here we are going to end. Thank you for the listening. We are going to end here with the session. Thank you one and all.